Welcome to the Empower El podcast. I'm your host, Vero, and I'm so excited to have you join me on this journey of empowerment and growth. This podcast is designed for ambitious, high-achieving women who are ready to break free from overwhelm and step into their power. Together, we'll explore practical strategies, share inspiring stories, and hear from experts who can help you navigate the challenges of balancing ambition and well-being. Whether you're looking to cultivate confidence, transform your mindset, enhance your leadership skills, or find harmony in your life, this is the place for you. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Empower Ed podcast. I'm so glad that you're here to learn about something that could shift the way that you lead and live. Today's conversation is all about balancing ambition and values and how to stay true to what matters most. So take a deep breath and let's dive in. If you're listening to this, chances are that you are someone who wants to make an impact. You're driven and ambitious, and you care deeply about what you do, or you want to find something that you care deeply about. But maybe, just maybe, you've also asked yourself, at what cost? Because when you're ambitious, it's so easy to fall into the trap of constantly striving. You set goals, you work hard, you push through. But somewhere along the way, the things that truly matter, your values, your peace, your relationships, your well-being, can start to take a backseat. And I want to say this right at the beginning. Ambition isn't the problem. Ambition is powerful. It's what helps you grow and build and create. But ambition without alignment, that's what leads to exhaustion and anxiety and that scary feeling in your stomach of, I'm doing all the right things, but this doesn't feel right at all. I know this feeling well because I've lived it. There was a time when I thought that being ambitious meant never slowing down. When I was climbing the corporate ladder, I equated my value with how much I achieved. If I wasn't busy, I felt guilty. If I wasn't pushing, I felt like I was falling behind. And if I wasn't working long hours, I felt like I wasn't good enough. And yet, as I achieved more and more, I felt more disconnected, more anxious, more like I was performing a version of success that looked great on paper, but that didn't feel like me. And looking back, what I didn't realize was that I was living from ambition alone, not alignment. My goals were impressive, but they weren't mine. They were built from expectation, not from intention. And that's where the misalignment starts. When ambition runs ahead of your values, it doesn't matter how successful you look on the outside, you will always feel like something is missing. So let's pause here. What does it actually mean to live in alignment with your values? A lot of people hear the word values and think of it as this unrealistic concept, like a list of nice words that you put on a vision board. But your values are so much deeper than that. Your values are your internal compass. They are what guide your decisions, what shape your boundaries, and they define what success really means to you. When you live in alignment with your values, you're not chasing validation, you're creating fulfillment. You're no longer asking, what should I do? You're asking, what feels true to me? And the difference between those two questions is everything. Here's an example. Let's say that one of your core values is freedom. You value autonomy and creativity and the space to think. But your calendar is packed, back to back, and your evenings are spent catching up on emails, and your weekends are consumed with just one more thing. You're constantly violating your own value. So no wonder it feels exhausting. You're essentially betraying the part of you that needs space to breathe. So when we talk about balancing ambition and values, what we're really saying is, how can I pursue what I want without abandoning who I am? So let's get practical. How do you know when you're out of alignment? Here are 4 signs that you can look for. The first is that you're constantly busy, but you're never fulfilled. So you check the boxes, you hit the goals, you keep moving, but something always feels off. The second is that you feel guilty when you rest. So there's a voice in your head that says, you should be doing more, you should be doing better, there's things that need to get done. Number 3 is that you're saying yes when you actually want to say no. Because deep down, you don't want to disappoint others or fall behind. And number 4 is that you've lost touch with what excites you. So everything feels like an obligation instead of an inspiration. If you recognize yourself in any of those, you're not alone. That's your body and your mind telling you that you're living by expectation and not by alignment. So here's the good news. Ambition and values are actually not opposites. They're partners. Ambition gives you direction, and your values give you the foundation. When you integrate them, something beautiful happens. Your goals become an extension of who you are and not a performance of who you think you need to be. And that is when ambition becomes sustainable. That's when achievement starts to feel good again. I remember when I finally redefined success for myself. I sat down one weekend, exhausted after another 70+ hour work week, and I asked myself, if I keep going like this, what am I actually building? And for who? That question stopped me in my tracks. Because the honest answer was, I was building something that looked successful, but it didn't feel aligned, and it wasn't for me. And that's when I started to rebuild from my values. Not from what was expected of me, not from what I thought I should do, but from what truly mattered. And you know what happened? my ambition didn't disappear. It actually got stronger because it became more intentional, more grounded, and a lot more fulfilling. Well, hello there. Yes, this is an ad inside my own podcast. And listen, if I'm interrupting your day, it's because what I'm about to tell you is actually important. If you're listening to this show, I already know something about you. You're a high-achieving woman who does everything and somehow keeps it together. I mean, at least on the outside. But underneath, every single task feels like climbing a mountain. Your brain is juggling 47 tabs. You have forgotten what dreaming feels like because you're too busy putting out fires. And honestly, at this point, you probably deserve honorary firefighter status. And here's the thing. This isn't a personality flaw. It's overwhelm. And waiting for life to slow down so you can feel like yourself again. Yeah, that plan has a 0% success rate. Ask me how I know. So let me offer you a different reality. What if you could move through your week without rushing? What if you actually had energy left, like real usable energy for your dreams? What if your life felt like it had space again? What if you could breathe deeper, move slower, accomplish more, and actually trust yourself? Well, you can. And that's exactly what I help you do inside Overwhelmed to Organized, where you will learn how to master your time and your energy. So the doors will be open from January 20th to 31st, and the spots are limited because I really want to support you closely. So if your soul just whispered, yes, if you felt that tiny flicker of hope that says, maybe life doesn't have to feel like this, then send me a message to get on the wait list or to jump in as soon as the doors open. I would love to have you inside and watch you breathe again and dream again and truly transform. All right, back to the episode. You are going to love this one. So let's talk about how you can start doing this. I want to give you 3 steps that you can take today to start balancing your ambition with your values. So set aside 15 quiet minutes, no phone, no distractions, and ask yourself, what truly matters most to me right now? And write down whatever comes up. It could be your family, your health, creativity, your sense of peace, or the impact you want to have in the world. And then ask, am I living in a way that honors those things? You might realize that there's a gap, and that's okay. Because awareness is always the first step to alignment. It's the first step to everything. So take a look at your current goals and ask yourself, do these goals reflect my values or just my old definition of success? For example, if you value freedom, but your goals require you to be available 24/7, then there's misalignment. If you value growth, but your schedule is so packed that you never have space to learn, then there's misalignment. It's not about throwing out your ambition. It's about refining it. Make your goals serve your values and not the other way around. Now, step 3 is to redefine success. The last step is redefining what success actually means to you. Because for most of us, success was defined for us by our culture, our family, and by what we saw around us. But as adults, we get to choose again. We get to decide what we want to believe. Maybe success used to mean climbing the ladder, and maybe now it means having time for kids. Maybe it used to mean being the best, and now it means being at peace. Whatever it is, own it. There's no wrong answer as long as it's truly your answer. So, how do we actually live this balance day to day? It comes down to one simple practice. That's intentional choices. So every time you say yes to something, ask yourself, is this aligned with what matters most to me? And that question alone will change your life, because it helps you to pause and reflect and lead from your values and not from pressure or guilt or comparison. You'll start noticing that your yeses become more powerful and your no's become more peaceful. And one more thing, balancing ambition and values doesn't mean living in perfect harmony all the time. There will be seasons where ambition takes the lead, when you're launching something big, or you're working towards a goal, or you're stepping into a stretch season. And that's okay. The key is to come back to alignment afterwards and to ask, am I still living in a way that honors my values? Because the balance isn't about being still. It's about coming back to center over and over and over again. So let me share a few simple ways to weave this into your life. The first is weekly check-ins. Every Sunday, take 5 minutes to ask, did I live in alignment this week? And where did I drift? The second is align planning. So when you're setting goals, write your top 3 values at the top of the page so that you're reminded of them as you set your goals. And the third is use boundaries as protection. Remember, boundaries aren't walls, they're a fence that protect what is sacred. And most importantly, give yourself grace. This is not about perfection. It's about presence. Here's the beautiful part. When you live in alignment with your values, the impact ripples outward. Your team feels it, your family feels it, your community feels it. You show up as a more grounded, authentic, and confident version of yourself. And people naturally trust and follow that kind of leadership because it's real. Ambition is what drives results, but values are what make those results meaningful. And together, they create a version of success that's not just impressive, it's actually integrated. So as we wrap up today, I want you to ask yourself one question. If my ambition and my values were perfectly aligned, what would my life look like? Visualize that version of you. The one who's still achieving and still growing, but doing it in a way that feels peaceful and purposeful and authentic. That version of you already exists. You just have to keep choosing her. Balancing ambition and values is not a one-time decision. It's a lifelong practice. It's a choice that you make every day to lead and live from alignment and not from pressure. to create success that feels like you. Because that's what real empowerment looks like. It's not doing more, it's doing what matters most. So if this conversation speaks to you, go to my website, empowerl.ca, and grab your free version of the Clarity Compass that will help you work on your values. And if you want to go even deeper, send me a DM about my coaching program, Aligned and Unstoppable. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please share it and tag me on Instagram at empower_L. I would love to hear where you're out of alignment and what values of yours you're discovering. And I remind you to keep choosing yourself, your vision, and your values. That is real power. I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you for tuning into the Empower L podcast. I hope today's episode inspired you and gave you practical insights to help you navigate your journey as an ambitious, high-achieving woman. Remember, every step you take towards building your confidence and embracing your full potential is a step closer to creating the life you truly desire. If you enjoyed this episode, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform. Your support helps us reach more women who are ready to step into their power and live their best lives. Don't forget to join our community on social media for more resources, tips, and inspiration. Until next time, lead with power and live with wellness. You are unstoppable.